over the square root. Right? So this is the dude I have sent. Right? So please write the title square root. Satika is not able to join the class. Just send it. Okay. Over the write down the lesson name square root. This is the second lesson now. Right. Right with it. Please write this down. Those who are having the tute don't no need to write, right? Those who do not have the tute, please write this. What is the square root and how we denote it? Right? What is the square root and how we denote it? Right? I will put this into the chat as well. Chat now. Hi. So this is a good lesson, na? Square root is also a good lesson, and this will help you a lot. And also, this is one of the very important lesson. Right. Okay. So I will come back to the board. Right. So square root. This is our second lesson. Right. So what do you know about square root? Not then. Do you guys know about square root? Square root is something like so this is the square root. This is the square root. Yeah. Right. So this is how we are going to denote the square root. Right. And when it comes to the numbers, right, if we want to say square root of 10, oh sorry, square root of 100, I will take square root of 100. Right? Don't write. I will give you the time to write down. Please look at the whole. Right. So this is how we are going to denote. Right. Notation. Or square root symbol. Right. Or we can say symbol of square root. Right. So if you want to tell something like this, square root of 100. No, square root of 9 kilograms. Square root of 9. Right. This is how we are going to read. Right. Square root of 9. and this is how we are going to denote it. Square root of 9. Right? ඒක කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අපි දන්නවා ඒක. Right? We know that. කියන්න දෙයක් common නැහැ, but okay, පුතේ, write this now. Right? Yeah, you already know this one. Right? Under the first subtitle, please write it. Right? What is the square root and how we denote it? This is how you give the notation, symbol of square root, or how you are going to denote this. So, in the page number 1, right, we have a table like this. Now, first look at the board. I will give you the time to fill the table. Right? So, first look at the board. So, I will refer this as the first column, and this is the second column, and then third column. Don't write for fifth. Right? So in the first column we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah, and we have blah 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 20 and 50. Right? I am not going to write all the things. In the second column they are asking how the square of the number obtained. This is nothing much more, very easy thing. Right? Now look at the board. Once I explain this, right? While I am explaining, don't do anything. Right? I am giving you the time to write. I am giving you the time to write. Hurry. Now look at the board. In the second column, they are asking how the square of the number obtained. So 1, you need to obtain the square of this number. You can write 1 times 1. Right? And in the third column, in the table, right, how the square of the number is denoted. You know how to denote this number. 1 to the power 2. 1 times 1 means 1 to the power 2. And the value of this 1 to the power 2 is 1. Right? And you are going to obtain the square root of this. And you are going to obtain the square root of this. Right? How you are going to obtain the square root of this number? These things are known. These things are known, nothing much more. These things are known. I am still explaining the concept. Then I will share the screen so that you can understand, and then I am going to explain it again. Right? Square root of 1. Square root of 1 can be obtained, as you said earlier, 1 to the power 2. Square root. Right? Square root of 1 to the power 2. That means 1. Right? If I have to, I can write it in this form. Square form. 2 times 2. 2 times 2 can be written down as 2 to the power 2. Right? 2 to the power 2 value is 2 to the power 2 means 2 times 2, which is 4. You are going to take the square root of 4. Obtain the square root of 4 in the final column. The square root of 4 can be written down as square root of 2 to the power 2. 2 to the power 2 square root. 2. The value is 2. Right. So you guys know how to fill the rest. Now I will give you the time to fill the rest. But before that, the thing that we are talking is how to find the square root of a positive number. Right. All of these are positive numbers. And when you are going to do your A levels, you will be having negative numbers as well. How to find the square root of negative numbers. I will tell it later. But because first of all, you need to learn how to find the square root of any given positive number. Any given one, right? You know how to obtain the square root of 4. You know how to obtain the square root of 1. You know how to obtain the square root of 100. You know how to obtain the square root of 49. Right? 81. Sorry? And 36. Blah, blah, blah. So on and so forth. Right? Right. But we need to obtain the square root of other numbers as well. How to obtain the square root of 5? How to obtain the square root of 6? How to obtain the square root of 7? There are few methods to obtain. Okay, but before that, we have to fill the small table that we have here. Right, Pooja? The pay you take a puthala, right? Please write this, the square root of a positive number, right? Once you get the printout, you can fill it out. Adu way. So, Tagda, fill this table. Let us fill this table very fast. I have done it in the board. Okay, Pooja, okay. Yes, yes. Seema, yeah. I will explain it. I explain that. Right? So, Pooja, uh, this is the number, and this is the how the square of the number is obtained, right? That is, shall I zoom this out somewhat? मैं zoom करना. थोड़े zoom करो थोड़ा. Right. Super. Great. I hope you guys can see this now. Right? I'll turn off my video and right. Okay. Super. Right. So by using this, I will explain. Right. Here, if you have the number 1, how the square of the number is obtained? How the square of the number is obtained? Right? So 1 times 1. Then how the square of the number is denoted? How can you denote this in a different way? 1 to the power 2. Square of the number. Then what is the answer of this 1 to the power 2? Which is 1 times 1, 1. Right? Now we are going to obtain the square root of this one. Right? How to obtain the square root? Right? There is a pattern now. Very easy pattern. Right? Then 1 square root of 1, right, can be obtained like this. This 1 can be written down as 1 to the power 2 by looking at the previous one. 1 to the power 2. It's easy. Right? This 1 can be written down as 1 to the power 2. So, square root of 1 to the power 2 is, you know what? Right? There is a pattern. Nothing to understand. Maybe look there. Right? Very small thing that you have to understand. Then 2. You can write 2 times 2. How we are going to denote this? 2 times 2 means 2 to the power 2. What is the value of 2 to the power 2? 4. Now we are going to obtain the square root of 4. How we are going to obtain the square root of 4? By looking at the previous value. It's 4 can be written down as 2 to the power 2. Okay, 2 to the power 2. Then you are going to take the square root. Square root of 2 to the power 2 means 2. So basically, you know what is the square root of 4. Right? When someone asks from you what is the square root of 2, you are directly saying 2. So this is how we obtain. 4 can be written down as 2 to the power 2. Backward, square root of 2 to the power 2 means itself number 2. Right? So I will take another number 8. Right? Sorry. 8. 8 times 8. 8 times 8 can be represented as 8 to the power 2. 8 to the power 2 means 64. Right? 64. Now we are going to find the square root of 64. Square root of 64. Right? What is the square root of 64? How you can write it? Go backward. 64 can be written down as 8 to the power 2. 8 to the power 2. Take the square root of 8. Right? 64 can be written down as 8 to the power 2. Square root of 8 to the power 2 means 8. Fully understood? Please fill the rest. Okay. Please fill the rest. Without your fill current angle. And once you done, please send me D. D. Please send me D to the chat. Okay. Super. Sandhanu has done. Ritik done. You guys need to be somewhat fast to there. Do it fast. There is a pattern. Okay, Netuli done. Yeah. 50 can be written down as how the square the number obtained 50 into 50. And how the square of the number is denoted 50 to the power 2. The square of the number 50 times 50 means 2500. 2500. Then you are going to take the square root of 2500. Right? So 2500 can be written down as by looking at the backward number 50 to the power 2. Right? 50 to the power 2 square root. Very easy. 50 to the power 2 means 50. Square root of 50 to the power 2, 50. Okay. Done. They will be done. Okay. Okay, guys, do you need more time to complete? Complete kan goda pela hone ta. If you want, you can tell me. Right. Hope time is enough. Right. Alright. Okay. Alright. Try to this. Okay. I will stop sharing. Right. So now I am going to tell you small hint. What is hint then? Right? So it is something like this. So you have whether here you have 20. So this can be written down as 20 times 20. Right? 20 times 20 means 20 to the power 2. Right? 20 to the power 2. Right? So that means 400. 400. So you are going to obtain the square root of 400. Right? Square root of 400. And by looking at back, you can write this 400 in a different way. Square root of 400 can be written down as 20 to the power 2. Normally, the meaning of the square root of is this. The square root of any number to the power 2. Square root is like a knife. Right? Knife means cut. Cut what? Right? Cut what? Right? Here you have power 2. Cut it half. So the answer is equals 20. Done. Right? So I will do this 50. 50 times 50 Then 50 to the power 2. 50 means 50 times 50 means 2500, right? That means you are going to take the square root of 2500. By looking at back, 2500 can be written down as 50 to the power 2. That means square root 50 to the power 2. What is the meaning of square root? If you have power 2 of any given number, Arti, me. Square root 10 power 2 cancel out. Me. Cancel out, cancel out. The remaining number is 50. So any given number, if I take any given number as a to the power 2, if you cannot can write it as to the power 2, if you want to take the square root of this, that means this square root can cut this power 2. So the value is a. That is the basic thing that you need to understand. Right. Okay. Now we are going to move the real thing. Now we are going to find the square root of any given number. So how we are going to do that? There are two methods actually to find the square root of any given number. What are the two methods? You can use a calculator and you can do it manually. It's not like that. Right? Why we are going to learn these things? Right? If we have a calculator, right? We don't want these things. Right? So let's go to the thing. So Puga, there are two methods to find the square root of any given number. Right? If you want to find the square root, the first method is approximation method. Right? So we are going to figure it out. Approximation method. The other one, division method. Division method. So these two methods are here in this lesson to be learned. So first of all, we are going to figure this out. Right? Transformers film Optimus can. It's time to find out. Right? It's time to find out. So it's time to find out what is approximation method. Right? So right. So why we are using approximation method? So you know how to obtain the square root of 4. You directly know it. You know the answer is square root of 4, which is 2. You know the answer of square root of 9, which is 3. Now I am asking, what is the square root of 3? What is the square root of positive 3? Can you say like that? Can you say? Yeah. Actors. Nidimatai, right? You will feel sleepy. Can you find this actors? No, at least type machans. At least type Parigaranda. Right?
No, sir.
No. You cannot tell. Right? That is why we are going to use approximation method or the division method. Right? Right. Okay. So let's go back to the thing. Yeah. I have given under the table, right? The students who do not have the printout of the tute take puthala. So no. Actually, this part is not needed much more. right? I will write the approximation method in the board, right? So I have given you. Now, can you find the square root of number 3? At once, no, right? So let us find a way to find the square root of such number, right? It is called approximation method. So I have explained all the necessary things here, and I am going to explain the approximation method step by step so that you can go with me. Correct? Right. Now make a part important. Okay? Lowe, there will be a question in your exams. You might feel like the first example, ade make a part lengthy, right? Make a good digai vage, but this is the shortest method, right? Okay, focus on the board, eyes on the board, right? So, second subtitle, they write down approximation method. The students who do not get the tune, others don't need to write approximation method, right? What is called approximation? What the approximation can huh? What the approximation can? Can anyone tell me? Mihara, what is approximation meaning?
ආසන්නව බලන්න.
ආසන්න වෙනවා. Okay. Oh Mihara, can't hear you. What is approximation meaning? මම දන්නේ නැහැ. මට මිහාර කිව්ව මොකද මට ඇහුන්නේ නැහැ. දෙවි?
Guessing the number.
No, I'm asking singularly.
ආසන්නව බලන්න.
Okay, ආසන්නව. නිලන්න?
දල වශයෙන් කියනවා.
Okay. නෑ. අපි මේක කියලා මෙහෙම. හරි ආසන්නව තමයි හරි. ආසන්නව තමයි. ඊට වෙලි ලස්සන වචනයෙන් කිව්වොත් එහෙම. ඔන්න දැන් ඔයාලා ඉන්නවා ඉස්කෝලේ. You are in the playground in the school, right? Now you guys seeing a boy and girl, right? Approximating each other. Approximate, you know. මොකද කියන්නේ? ළඟා වෙනවා හරිද? ළඟා වෙන්නේ මොකටද? කතා කරන්න වෙන මොකටද නෙමෙයි. අපි දන්නේ ඔයාලේදී වෙන ඒවා හිතුවම මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මං කියන්නේ they are reaching. Reaching නේ right, they are reaching. හරි. මට ඔයාලගේ මූණ පේන්නේ නැහැ. හරි, please turn on your cameras. Right, otherwise I will right, ඔයාලගේ අම්මලාගෙන් තාත්තලාගෙන් අය complaints එන්න බෑ, right? complaints එන්න බෑ. මට cameras off කරගෙන වෙන වැඩ කරනවා කියලා හොඳේ. Otherwise I will give you money and I'll ask you to go back where you come from. Huh? I don't care about money. මට එහෙම සල්ලි නෑ හරි. සල්ලි තිබ්බනම් මම මේ බෝඩ් එක කරන්නේ නෑනේ පුතා. I'll take a මොකද්ද smart screen. හරි, if I have enough money I'll take a smart screen. මට සල්ලි තිබ්බ, right? But if I receive like those kind of things, right? ඔයාලගේ අම්මලාගෙන් තාත්තලාගෙන් මට ආවොත් එහෙම එකක් කියනවා, right? I will give you money and I will ask you to go out from my class, right? Because ඔයාලගේ cameras මට පේන්නේ නැති නිසා. හරි. And I will tell you guys to on the cameras. හරි. හරි. So however මේ හොඳට ඉගෙන ගන්න. හරි. මම ඒක තමයි group එකෙන් දැම්මේ. Right? Education is the key. Education gives you wings. අර Red Bull gives you wings කියලා තියෙන්නේ පාවෙන්න. හරිද? That kind of thing is this. මේක. Right? Education is the key to success. Education gives you wings. right? To fly out the world, right? Sorry, to fly out from this Sri Lanka as well, correct? So you will get the things done if you get a good education. Now don't ask, sir, why are you here, Gila? Because I am the only one in my family. So I can't move. Because my mother and father only having me. So I have several things to be accomplished. So I can't move. So learn better, do the education to the maximum that you can do, then fly. Correct? Okay, this approximation method. So you can say, that girl and boy are approximately. Now they are going to apply the approximation method. කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් හරි. එතකොට මතක් වෙන්න ඕනේ how to find the square root by using approximation method කියලා මතක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි. Let's go back. Right. So example number 1. හරි. The example number 1 it's saying approximate, right? පුතේ ලියන්න. Write down. The student who do not have the tube, right? Approximate square root of 30 to the first decimal place. To the first decimal place. Right? To the first decimal place. Right? Inside the bracket, I have given you first approximation. First approximation. Alright? In the exam or in questions, you might see approximate square root of 13 to the first decimal place. That is one style that they can ask from you to find the square root of 30. In another way, you can be asked approximate square root of 30 to the first approximation, or they can ask find the square root of 13 to the first approximation. What is the meaning of first approximation? First approximation is to the first decimal place. සිංහලෙන් කියනවා first approximation කියන්නේ මේ ලස්සන වචනයක් කියලා. පළමු සන්නිකර්ෂණය. සන්නිකර්ෂණය කියලා කියනවා. We are telling it සන්නිකර්ෂණය. පළමු සන්නිකර්ෂණය. හරි. ඒක ලස්සන word එකක් මට. හරියට මතක නෑ. Yes. So first approximation means to the first decimal place, right? So that is the meaning. Approximate square root 30 to the first decimal place. Or they might ask, right? Find the square root of the 30, square root 30, right? To the first approximation. You need to know, I need to find for the first decimal place. Right. So this is it. Please write this and now look at the book. Right. Okay. Step number 1. Right. Step number 1. I have given it in the tutor. Choose the perfect square numbers. I will explain this one. First write. Anita unknown. Choose the perfect square numbers. Choose the perfect square numbers. Shall I share the screen? I think it would be great. Right? If I share the screen, you guys can write it. Anka. No need to write the board. Right. Okay, so when you are coming in the next week, okay, may please take the printout. So please write this. Step number 1. Choose the perfect square numbers. Write down it fast. Which is greater than 13 and which is smaller than 13, which are very close. Which are very close. Okay. So this is your 13. Right? This is your 13. Can anyone tell me what are the two perfect square numbers which should be here and which should be here, where your 13 is in between them? Right? You have to choose the two perfect square numbers which is greater than 13, right? Greater than 13 and less than 13. Super. Okay, Amina.
9, 16.
Super. 9 and 16. So, Buddha, the less than 13 number is 9, which is the perfect square number 9. And the greater than 13 number is 16. Right? The greater than number is 16. So, in between 9 and 16, you have the 30. Okay. So keep that in your mind. Right. Please write this 9, 13, 16. So 16 is greater than 30. 9 is less than 30. So this is the way. Right. So this is the first step that you have to do. Yes, Amina's answer is correct. Right. Today I am doing somewhat slowly because you guys need to understand the first question to the maximum. Okay? At least 80% of this you need to understand. Right? Making 80% you have to understand. Right? So Buddha, you have to first write the perfect square numbers which you have, right, less than 30 and the greater than 30. So in between 9 and 16, you have 30, right? Right, super. Okay, keep that in your mind. That is the first step that you have to do if you see any kind of question like this. Right, super. I am going to move to the next part. I hope you have finished writing this. Now, step number 2. Right. So, Pula, previously you had something like this. I will explain this in the board dash 9, 30, 60. Now, what they are saying? Step number 2. Take the square root of the above. Right? පුතේ මෙහාරා ඔයාගේ මේ connection line එක stable නැද්ද? And නෙතුලි too. නෙතුලිගෙයි කවුද මිහාරගෙයි මේ connection line එක stable නැද්ද? I am seeing you guys are going out of the session and coming back. ඒක අවුලක් නැහැ. But ඒක දිගින් දිගටම වෙනවා නම් අර airplane mode එක on කරලා ගන්න හරිද? phone එකේ airplane mode on කරලා එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාලගේ මේ ඔයාලා ඉන්න තැන change කරලා බලන්න. Right? I think it would be great. Right? So that you have to get a better connection with signals. So then please try to change the place or airplane mode on off color balance. Right. So the step number 2, it's saying take the square root of the above. Okay. So this is it. Now you are going to take the square root of each and every number. Like this. Right. You are going to take the square root of each and every number like this. Right? Please write it. So you know what is the square root of 9? It is 3. Greater than. You do not know the square root of 13. That is the thing you are going to find out. Keep it as it is. Square root of 13. And you know what is the square root of 16? It is 4. Right? Write this thing. Meghalyan, please write this. Okay, please write this. Hurry. Now what you can see? Now what you can see? Now what you can say? And now what you can say? Now you what would be the conclusion by looking at this? Megadiya Balwama, what you can understand? What this is saying? Square root of 13, right? Square root of 13 is in between 3 and 4. Eh? So it should be a decimal number. Eh? That's why the first question they are asking, try to find the square root of 13 for the first approximation. Right? First approximation. That is why they are telling to find the square root of 13 to the first approximation. Because, right, this is a perfect number 3. 4 is also a perfect number, whole number 4. In between 3 and 4, you have the square root of 13. That might be 3.1. 3.2. So these are the numbers in between 3 and 4. 3.3. Blah blah blah. 3.5. Right? 3.6. Blah blah blah. 3.7. So these are the first approximation could be 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, blah blah blah, 3.5, or 3.6, 3.7, 3.9, 3.8. Now we are going to find that. Right? So the conclusion that you can get here is square root of 13 is in between 3 and 4 itself. And this is the conclusion of the step number 2. Right? So you can write. Now you can see. I will type it here. Mama board day explain karna mega. So right, don't worry. Right? Now you can see. Puthala, write up the square root of 30 lies between lies between lies between 3 and 4. Right? This is the conclusion that you can get by looking at this. The square root of 30 lies between 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, between 3 and 4, only these numbers you can have. 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, blah blah blah, up to 3.9. As the first approximation, as the first decimal place. Right, okay. Now you have an idea of the first approximation. Sorry. Right, with the earlier, na? Why is 7? Right. Once you finish writing, please let me know. Seema and Netuli, please write this, and you can send me D for done. Right, only this thing you have to write. No need to write other things. No need to write this. Okay. Right. Super. Okay. Okay. Hi. Now let's go to the step number 3. And now we have done up to 60% of the question. Now we have done up to 60% of the question. Now you should feel like what would be the answer. Right? So step number 3. Find the closest number to 13 from the above two numbers. Right? So previously we had Putha. It is something like this. And previously we had 9 greater than 13 less than 60. Right? 9 greater than 13 less than 60. So Putha, how we are going to find the closest number to 13 from 9 and 16? Can anyone tell me how we are going to find the closest number to 13 from these two numbers, 9 and 16? By looking at 9 and 16. Can anyone tell me? Okay. How the way? Kavinsha, can you tell me? Kavinsha? Dilisha?
Yes.
Kavinsha, tell me how we are going to find the closest number to 13 when you have number 9 and number 16.
I subtraction.
Okay, subtract which two numbers? Very good. Dilisha? Yours? How we are going to find the closest number?
Subtract 9 from 13 and 16 from 13 to find the closest number.
Yeah. 9 from 13 away, 13 from 9 and 16 from 13. Right? Sorry, 13 from 16. Yeah, 9 from 13, 13 from 16. Yeah, you are correct. I got the wrong name. Right? Okay, so here what you have to do is you have to find the closest number to 13. You are going to check whether 9 is the most closest number to 13 or 16 is the most closest number to 13. For that, you are going to take the subtraction. So 9 and 30. What is the difference between 9 and 30? I will write D difference. Right? Difference between 9 and 30.
4.
Yes. Difference between 9 and 13 will be 4. Likewise, you can tell me difference between 13 and 16. 3. The difference is 3. Right? So, Buddha, you can figure it out whether 9 is the closest one or the 16. So, here, by looking at these two differences, you can conclude that, right, this 3 in the Maya is the smallest gap, correct? Smallest difference, right? You can figure it out. This is the smallest difference. Smallest difference. Right? When it compares to this 4, are the smallest difference, then you can figure it out. Here, previously you had like if you get the square root of this, right? If you get the square root of this, and it becomes 3 square root of 13 and square root of 40, right? So by looking at this, you can say 16 is the closest number to 30, right? 16 is the closest number to 30, right? So then you can write therefore, right? Therefore number 9. Right, sorry, number 9, maybe number 16. Number 16 is closer to 13 than 9. Right? Number 16 is closer to 13 than 9. Right? Please fill this out. So the thing that you need to understand here is, right, in the step number 3, you are going to find which number is closest. Get the difference, then figure it out which number is the closest one. Right? So here it should be 16. 16 is closer to 13 than 9. Right? Right. So then, therefore, here should be, it should be E. Therefore, square root 13 is a value closer to which one? So if I take the square root thing of this, right, this can be written down as many. Square root of 9 is 3, right, greater than, then the square root of 13. In the step number 2, we have obtained this one. Okay, don't worry, I am going to explain this full question in the board. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 16 is 4. Right. So we can conclude that therefore the number 16 is closer to 13 than 9. Therefore, square root of 13 is a value closer to this. Right? Is a value closer to 4. Another. Right? Is a value closer to 4. Right? Please fill this. Fill here. Right. Now I am going to explain the rest in the board. Otherwise you won't get this. මේක ඔයාලට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. මම මෙතන පැහැදිලි කරා. හරිද? දැනටම තල වගේ වෙන්නේ නැති. හරි? මම කැමති නැහැ මේ බෝඩ් එක යූස් කරන්න. හරි. මේක යූස් කරන්න කැමති නැහැ. හරි. So I am going to stop sharing. Now we are in the end of the step number 3. Right? And the end of the step number 3. Right, Uday? Now I will clear the board. So step number 1. Now I am going to explain little bit fast from the step number 1 so that you can understand. Alright? Right. Okay, look at the board. We are going to find the square root of 13. Right? In the step number 1, right, we have to take just number 13. Then we have to find the lesser perfect square number and the greatest perfect square number for 13. Where 13 is in between them. Right? Now please remind the things with me. Right? So the lesser square number is perfect square number is 9. The greater perfect square number is 16. So that we can write 9 is less than 13. 13 is less than 16. Right? So this is it. So this is what you have done in the step number 1. Right? Then in the step number 2, right? In the step number 2, you have taken the, right? You have taken the square root of these 9, 13, square root of 16. Square root of 9 is 3, right? So we are going to find the square root of 13. So keep as it is. Square root of 16 means 4. Then we have written down, right? We can get the conclusion, right? The square root of 13 is in between 3 and 4. If the square root of 13 is in between 3 and 4, the values for the first approximation or the first decimal place could be 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 7, 8, 3.9. So one of those values can be the first approximation for the square root 13. Correct? Now, step number 3. Step number 3. Find the closest number to 13 from the above two numbers. That means 3 or 4. Right? 3 or 4. For that, we have to use this one as well. Right? Because we are going to find the difference of these numbers first. Difference 9 and 30. Difference is 4. 13 and 16. Difference is 3. By looking at this one, this is the smallest difference. Right? We can conclude that. Right? This is the smallest difference. Right? So, you know the square root of 9 is 3. Right? Square root of 13, we are going to find that. Square root of 16 is 4. Right? So, we can write the 16 is the closest number to 13. So that we can write, therefore, square root of 13, right? Therefore, square root of 13, right? Here 16 is the closest number, so that the square root of 13 can be a value which is closer to 4, right? Right? The square root of 13 can be a value which is closer to 4 because we have found the smallest gap here which is closer to 16. 13 is closer to 16, so that square root of 13 could be a value, right, which is very closer to 4. Very closer to 4. I am going to explain the important thing now. Right? Therefore, square root of 13 is a value closer to 4. We have written down this. Is a value closer to 4. This is the thing that we have done in last sentence. Right. Step 4. Now this is the important thing. That step 4 it is saying, right? Step 4, in step 4 it is saying that, right? Therefore, one of the values from, now look at the board, therefore, I will give you the time to write, therefore, one of the values. Therefore, one of the values, right, comma, I am going to give you some values. I am going to give you some values. Now, think how we are going to get these values. Now, think like this. Square root of 13 is closer to 4. Square root of 13 is closer to 4. Normally, now tell me now. Tell me. Now tell me. Right? Now tell me 3.1. 3.1 is closer to number 4 or number 3. Tell me, again.
Number 3.
Number 3. Right? This is closer to number 3. 3.3 is closer to 4 or 3.
Number
3.
3.
Super. 3. ඔතේ මේ නිදිමතේ හොඳේ ඉතින් කතා කරන්න please stop. 3.5 is closer to
4.
Number 4.
4 the
3. Both.
who said 3?
3.
3.5 is again, I'm again asking. 3.5 is closer to 3 or 4.
3.
Both. Both.
Oh,
Right. Rounding off. Grade 9. Second lesson, right? Grade 9. Rounding off and scientific notation and rounding off. When you are going to rounding off 3.4, sorry, 3.5, how you are going to round it off? Now tell me, is it closer to 3 or 4?
4.
4. Because, right, you are going to add 1 to 5. Then it is 3.6. Now you are going to round it off to 4. So this is for 4. Right, closer to 4, 3.5. 3.6. 3.7.
4.
Yes. 3.8.
4.
4. 3.9. Closer to 4. But 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4 closer to 3. Okay. 3.2, 3.3, 3.4 closer to 3. Are the right? So we have concluded that therefore square root of 13 is a value closer to 4. That should be there, those values, right? Those values, right? Therefore, one of the values, right? Therefore, one of the values from, please put a write it with me, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, and 3.9. One space is not mentioned. Please put it. 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, and 3.9 should be the first approximation, should be the first approximation of square root of 13. Square root of 13. Right? Now we have done almost 85%. Now we are very closer to the answer. Now we are very closer to the answer. And പട്ടലാണ്. Right? Now what we are going to do? Right. So if you are going to find the answer for this one, right? We are going to find which number from these 5 numbers is the closest one to the square root of 13. Forget the square root, right? Forget the square root. We are going to find the closest value to the 30. Correct? So that we can get the square root of 30. Now we are going to find, right? If we get the multiplication of the same value, which is closer to 30, right? So we have to choose one value from this list. Now I am going to explain how to obtain the final answer, right? Now look at the board, eyes on the board, right? Now I need all of you to take, right? 3.5 into 3.5, right? 3.5 into 3.5. 3.6 into 3.6. 3.7 into 3.7. 3.8 into 3.8. 3.9 into 3.9. Please tell me the values for these things. Right? Do it fast. Send me the values. 3.5 into 3.5, 3.6 into 3.7, 6, 3.7, 3.8 into 3.8, 3.9 into 3.9. Right? Anggayan. 30. Talas ka lang. Now you guys need to get an understanding about what we are doing. What is the pattern? What is the pattern that we need to understand? That is the most important thing. Right? Okay, Devomi has sent me the answer for 3.6 into 3.6. 3.5 into 3.5. Do it fast, do it fast. Anggaran. Okay, this is 12.25, right? 3.6 into 3.6 means 12.96, right? Then 3.7 into 3.7. Okay, can anyone tell me or send me? Okay, Gagan has sent me. Nice. 13.96. 14.44. 15.21. Right, while others doing. Okay, thanks, Gagan. Right. So I will write it here, right? 3.5 into 3.5 equals 12.25. 3.6 into 3.6. Now you guys, Uday, you need to understand the concept. Huh? What is the thing that we have done in the step 1, 2, 3, 4? This is patta is only. Nothing much more. Right? 3.7. Right? 13.96. 3.8 into 3.8. 14.44. 3.9 into 3.9. 15.21. Right? So these are the values. Okay, all of you done? Please send me a D. D4 done. You got no D. Right. Okay, so how are you doing? How are you?
3.7 into 3.7 is 13.69.
Mukha dole. Everybody chutta kya bol rahi?
The 3.7 into 3.7 would be 13.69.
13.69, right? Right.
Yes.
Yeah. He has sent me the answer correctly, but I have written it on the other hand, on the other way. Thank you, Devi. Right. So this is 13.69. Haran. Now you need to understand a little bit of thing. Are put there understand karagan no right? Put there small thing. This is 12.25. This is 12.96. Now you need to think, adina lang hari. Approximate to which number? 30. 12.25, 12.96, 13.69. Approximate la ayatuttera. Longer time la home. So actually, do we need to find 14.44 and 15.25? Already we have passed 30. So no need to find these two values actually. Because you can understand now, you are going to find the square root of 13. Square root of 13. It is in between this. 13 is in between these two values. 13 is in between these two values. What is it? 12.96 just passed and 13.69. Now, how we are going to decide which value is closer to 13? Which value is closer to 13? How we are going to decide? Tell me. Again, further.
Subtraction.
Subtraction. Okay? Subtract from what? You are going to subtract. Actually, when your given number has passed from here, no need to find these things. May by own name. Waste of time, right? Don't find. Waste of time. Right? So you are going to subtract, right? Take the difference. You can take the difference with me. Take the difference. 13 minus 12.96. 13 minus 12.96. 13.69 minus 30. So if you get the subtraction, this will give you 0.0504. This will give you 0.69. Right? Now, can anyone tell me which is the smallest difference?
3.9.
Yeah, 0.04. Right? 0.04 is the smallest difference. So by looking at 0.04, right? By looking at 0.04, you can conclude that, right? So it gives the value 12.96. 12.96 is the closest value to 30, right? So you can write finally, right? You can write finally. Since the smallest difference is, right? Since the smallest difference is, since the smallest difference is 0.04, 0.04, right? We can say we can say 12.96, right? 12.96 is the closest to 30, right? Closest to 30, right? 12.96, right? 12.96. By looking at that, you can say, right? So for the 30, closest number is 12.96. Closest number is 12.96, right? So 12.96 can be written down as 3.6 into 3.6. 3 point into 3.6. So approximate square root 13 to the first decimal place or the first approximation, right? So that square root of 13 is very closer to 3.6, right? So this is the first approximation for 30 because 12.96 is the very closest number to 30. So if you get the square root of this, that means square root of this 12.96, right? That means square root of, right, square root of 13, very closer to square root of 12.96. 12.96 can be written down as 3.6 into 3.6. Other than 3.6 into 3.6. That means the first approximation of square root of 13 is 3.6. Right? Look at the, I am going to give you this one again. Right? So now we are here closest to 13. Right? Yes. So you can write, right, square root of 13. Right? Therefore, square root of 13 approximate not equal approximate approximation mark within approximation mark ළඟා තාම ළඟයි තාම චුට්ටයි square root of 30, right, is closer to square root of 12.96 because 12.96 is the closest number to 30, right? Square root of 12.96. 12.96 can be written down as 3.6 into 3.6, right? Make 3.6 into 3.6. 3.6 into 3.6 can be written down as, you know that 3.6 into the power 2. So that the answer is 3.6 to the first approximation. Right? Right? The very small thing you have. Then let's do another question with me. Then we can do the rest. Right? We can do the rest. Right? Please write this one. තාම තේරුම් නැතුවට අවුලක් නැහැ, right? If you cannot understand this, it is okay, right? We have a lot more time to learn, right? Now you got the concepts. Now you have the idea about step number 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right? That's enough. Right? That's enough. Now we are going to do another question. Right. We are going to find, now take your exercise book. You cannot do it in the book because I don't have given the space, right? Finally we have, therefore we can conclude that the first approximation for square root of 13 is, right? You can write this finally. Therefore at the end of the question I have given this. Therefore, right, we can conclude that the first approximation for square root 30 is 3.6. Right? No need to write this much. This is part easy, right? No need to write this much of things. Correct? Right. Now you guys know how to find the square root of by using the first approximation method, right? Up to 80% okay. Now you are okay. Now we are going to make sure that it is 100% okay by doing the page number 2, examples number 2. Page number 2, examples number 2, which is the square root of 33. Right? You are going to do it with me. Try to it. Right? So I'll clear. Sorry. Right? We are going to do it step by step. Huh? Only we have to do first find the two perfect square numbers which is greater than and less than. Then we have to take the square root of those two numbers. Then we have to get the difference and we have to find which is the closest number. And we have to identify which is the closest number and we have to get the which number is the approximate number. And by looking at that, we have to get the number which is again closest to that approximation number. And we have to write this blah blah blah. Alright? Very easy. Right, come on next. Right. So, Pudha, example number 2. Right? Example number 2. You can do this with me. You are going to find the first approximation for square root of 33. Square root of 33. This one. Let's do together. Right? Right. Write down. Tangle here. Right. Okay. Hope you have written this. Right. Okay. What is the first step? 33. 33. You are going to find which number is smaller than and greater than perfect numbers. Ne? So I know definitely 36 is the greatest number, bigger than number for this. Can you tell me the what is the lesser than perfect square? Tell me. Perfect square. Less than perfect square. Then W. No zero. Yep. Yes. Ritik, what is the smallest perfect square for 33? Deletion? Okay, 25, right? 25. Right? Just now I'm not going to right separate these into steps. Not going to separate these into steps, huh? Right? Less than. I am going to take the square root of this. Square root of 25. Mechcharai, right? Very easy. Square root of 33. Square root of 36. Right? After taking this, you guys know, right? 25 square root of 25, which is 5, greater than square root of 33, less than square root of 36 is 6. So you can conclude that the square root of 33 is in between 5 and 6. Square root of 33 is in between 5 and 6. That could be 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9. Right? One of those numbers could be the answer. Right? Now we are going to find it out. Right? So now we are going to find whether the 6 or the 5 is very closer to 33. Right? So for that we have to take this one again. Right? We have to compare the difference of this. Right? Right. Okay. Now 25. We have to write the step number 3. Right? 25, 33, 36. I am going to take the difference. Right? Difference between 25 and 33. 33 minus 25, 8. 36 and 33. 3 නේ. Very smallest difference. There is a pattern now. Each and everything you have a pattern. Right? So we can say 36 is closer to 33. Right? 36 is closer to 33. Right? That means 36 means 6. So 6. So the square root of 33 is closer to 6. Right? Square root of 33, square root of 33 is closer to 6. Value 6. Right? If the square root of 33 is closer to 6, now what are the first decimal places value that you can take? What are the first decimal place value that you can take as the first approximation? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me? Right? By and never. Please tell me. Is the square root of 33
5.5.
super? Right? So we have to go for 5.5. Right. Now I am not going to give you any help. Right. So this is the starting point. Right. Find the answer for square root of 13 for the first approximation. Send me the answer to the chat. Right. I want to see who finishes first from here. I want to see who finishes first, and I want to. Okay, Devmi has got the answer, right? Nice. Devmi has sent me the answer long before. Yes, Netuli got the answer. Super. You guys are great. Matakali kadaran. මේ පාඩම අපරාධ කරන්න පුතේ. නෑ අපි යන වෙනයක් කරමු. Right. කවුද? Devmi got the first place. Netuli got the second place. Pratik third. Seema, yes, super. Seema got the fourth place. And I do not know what is the correct answer, but let's see. Yeah? Most of you guys are sending me the same answer, Bala. Right, Budhe. Others, do you need more time? Order තුන් දෙනෙක් ගිහිල්ලා දිනවා. how තුන් දෙනා ගියන්? ප්‍රතික් ඉන්නවා. කවිෂා නේ. කවිෂා ඉන්නවා. මිදුන් ඉන්නවද? ඉන්නවා. විනෝගිත් ඉන්නවා. නෑ කෙනෙක් ගියා. Right. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Today, Mega, you have to go through the multiplication table. You have to go through the multiplication table and do this. Hurry. You have to simplify fast. Right, okay. I think time is up. Right. Can you please tell me the answer for that? Can anyone tell me 5.5 into 5.5? 5.6 into 5.6. Please tell me.
30.25.
किधर बोले 13 point
30.25.
30.25. Right, this one.
31.36.
Next one. This one.
32.49.
Now they पढ़ाएंगे
32.49.
34.49. Right?
32 point.
32. All right. Okay. Put one करना है 0.7 into 32.49. 5.8 into 5.8. All right. 33.64. May no need to find 5.9 because this has already exceeded 33. Right? This has already exceeded 33. Neither. So you have to find which number is closest. So find the difference. Right? So how to find the difference? 33 minus 32.49. Alright. 33.64 minus 33. Alright. Get the subtraction. 33 comes here. Then 10, 9, 1. So then here 9 is a 5 1. 0.51. Right? So this one 0.64. Smallest difference is this thing. Right? Right? So you can write the square root of 33 is approximate right to this. This is the closest number, right? Because the difference is small. 32.49 means this 5.7. 32.49 means 5.7 into 5.7. That means you can write 33 square root of 33 approximate to 32.49. 32.49. 32.49 can be written as 5.7 into 5.7. Right? 5.7 into 5.7. Guys, ඔයගොල්ලෝ මට 5.8 කියලා නේද? How that comes? How that comes? 5.8? It is greater. Nil. It is greater, right? So the answer should be 5.7, right? Am I correct? කවුද දිනුයි? So this is the answer, right? 5.7, right?
Yes, sir.
Alright, okay. Yeah. Yes, Dinugi has sent me the 5.7, right? Not 5.8, right? I do not know how you got the thing, right? Because this difference 0.64 is greater. Right? This is smallest, 0.51, right? 33 minus 32.49. Right. So 5.7 into 5.7, right? So that this can be again written down as right? This can be again written down as approximate 5.7 to the power 2 square root. Square root of 5.7 to the power 2 means 5.7. Right? So this is the first approximation. So what you can write, the first approximation of square root 33 is this. Right. I want all of you guys to do, right, the next one, example number 4, right, and send me the answer to the chat. I want to see who finishes first. Square root of 75. Do it fast and send me the answer to the chat. Right. Guys, until you do this, please tell me if you have any unclear point. Hi, Uday, do you have any unclear points? Please let me know. Right. If any step is unclear, please let me know. What is Shima is saying 8.7. Okay. But I do not know whether that is the correct answer or wrong. Right. Let's see. Right. Seema got the first place. Seema got the first place. Okay, Sadhanu is saying 8.6. Different answer. Dinugi is saying 8.7. Okay, third place for, sorry. Natuli is also there saying 8.7. Dinugi got the third place and Natuli got the fourth place, as I think, correct? Dilisha,
Yes,
are you getting the points?
yes, sir.
Sometimes but then nothing the value, right? Prashna, if you have any unclear points, you can ask from me. Okay, guys, do you need more time? What is the time maker? Because we have to do the speed revision as well. Dadaska Garanno. I will give you another 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. පුතේ ඔයාලා මුලින් ඉඳන්ම මේ විදිහට වැඩ කරගෙන යන්න හරිද? එතකොට අග්ගත ගිහිලා පිස්සු නටන්න ඕනේ නැහැ හරි. අර කට්ටිය ගියයි අර සම්මන්ත්‍රණය මේ සම්මන්ත්‍රණය ගා right? So you guys need to practice from the earliest හරිද? මුලින් ඉඳන්ම practice කරන්න ඕනේ. This thing right? Otherwise you have to suffer a lot at the end. කියන අවසානයේදී ගොඩක් suffer කරන්න වෙනවා. හරි? අවසානයේදී නටන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නේ ඔයාලා දැම්මම ගොඩ දාගත්තොත් වැඩි right? So work hard right from now. හරිද? Work hard. Actually not work hard, work smarter. හරිද? If you do these works in the class, actually no need to work on maths until the next class. I mean, that's enough for it. So do the homeworks that I am giving you. Then that is already enough for it. That is already enough. Right, okay. Now the times will pass. Right? Right. Okay, I will discuss this thing. I'm make a discuss කරන්න. හරි? Right, Puti. Okay. Example number 4. 75 square root. Square root 75. Hurry. So I will take the 75 here. Now eyes on the board. Eyes on the board. Focus on the board. Don't do anything. Huh? Now think with me. Mark the key then. Mark the key then. Right? Think with me. Right? 75. What is the greatest square number that we have? Perfect square number greater than this one. 8 times 8. 64. No. So it is less than 64 is less than 8. Now if you have 8 something 8, then next one is 9. 9 times 9 81. Right? Yes. In between 81 and 64 we have 75. Now we have to get the square root of this 75. This is part easy, right? If you catch the pattern, this is nothing. Right? A square root of 64, 8. Square root of 75, you have to find it out. Square root of 81, which is 9. Right? Now we are going to again write this because we need to find the smallest difference between these values, 75 and 81. Right? So I am going to take the difference. Right? So Mama dear, put the high income, right? I am doing with this little bit fast. Between these two, I have 11, right? And these two, I have 6, right? Right. So the smallest difference is this. So I can tell 81 is the closest number to 75, so that I can conclude this 9. The square root of 75 is closer to 9, right? Right? Square root of 75 is closer to 9 because this is the smallest graph. So 81, the square root of 81 is 9. So that I can say square root of 75 is closer to 9, right? Because this is the smallest gap, right? So this is it. Closer to 9 begin from 8.5, right? So 8.5, 8.5, 8.6, 8.6, 8.7, 8.7. So how we get this 8.6 into 8.6? It will give me 73.96, right? 8.5 into 8.5, 72.25, right? 8.7. If you catch the pattern, this is nothing, huh? 8.7 into 8.7. Nice. 75.69. So no need to find this. No need to find this one also because it is already exceeded 75. In between these two, you have 75. Right? So now find the difference. Difference, right? I clear this one. Oh my God. So I can't find it. Right? So difference 75 minus 73.96. Right? Then on the other hand, 75.69 minus 75 equal mark, right? Get the difference. Here, if you take 75 here, 0, 0. So take 10 minus 6, 4. Here 9 minus 9, 0. Here we have 5. I have taken 1. The remaining thing is 4 here. 4 minus 3, 1. 1.04. Then 75.69 minus 75.69. When most of you guys got the wrong place. Correct? You didn't care about this decimal place. Right? 75.00 minus 73.96. Subtract. Take 1 from here. 10. 10 minus 6, 4. Here you have 9. 9 minus 9, 0. You have taken 1 from 5. So the remaining is 4. 4 minus 3, 1. 1.6. Which is the smallest one? This is the smallest one. Smallest difference. So if this is the smallest difference, right? 75.69 is the closest number to 75. Right? So this is the closest value. Closest value. Because the smallest difference. Smallest difference 0.69. So the closest value is 75.69 to the 75. Alright. So this is the point most of you guys got wrong. Correct? Right. So it is a tricky point. When you are simplifying, you have to care about the whole number part as well. 1.0. This is part greater than this 0.69. So this is the closest one. So you can write square root of 75 approximate to 75.769. 75.69 can be written down as 8.7 into 8.7. 8.7. Right. 8.7 into 8.7 can be written down as 8.7 to the power 2. So the answer is 8.7. Right, Uday, tell me, do you have any questions now? Any unclear point from anyone? Where are our Bhattana?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So if you understand this one, please send me Y to the chat. All the points are clear. And if anyone is having any unclear point, please ask from me. Okay. Now the Netuli, Seema, Dinisha, Kanisha, Devmi, that's Dinane, Mituni, Sandanu. Right, okay. Right. Okay. Okay, Budhi. So let's do the right. So let's do the speed revision. What is called speed revision? Take the speed revision book. Right.